Melody's Apple Watch told investigators that at approximately 12:03 a.m., her heart rate spiked, and then there was also a loud noise alert.
I was just told a homicide. I was like, what the f***? I didn't know what the hell it was.
He had a gun, and I'm like, what are you going to do with that? And he was like, don't worry, just shut the f*** up.
At 12:03 a.m., Melody Hoffman's heart rate spiked sharply, and her Apple Watch recorded a noise so loud it triggered a 100 decibel alert. That single minute of data would become the silent witness that unraveled a meticulously planned murder. I have to admit something. When this case first surfaced, I focused on the obvious: the Walmart surveillance, the green trash bag in the trunk, the photo of Melody bound and crying. I gave the Apple Watch a passing mention. I treated it as a supporting detail. I was wrong. That device didn't just supplement the investigation. It reframed the entire timeline, contradicted every lie the suspects told, and gave Melody a voice she had been robbed of. Marian, Iowa is the kind of town where violent crime feels impossible. Low poverty, low unemployment, families raising children in quiet neighborhoods. On the morning of February 18, 2024, that illusion shattered.
But on February 18th, 2024, a 911 phone call pierces through that peace and quiet.
Iowa County 911, what is the address of your emergency?
I'm actually at Lily Lake in Amana, and there's, it looks like a dead body here.
Okay, you're at the Lily Pond?
Yeah, right by the, where the picnic area, the pavilion is. It's a woman, and she's just wearing underwear.
Is she breathing?
It does not look like it.
Do you see her chest rising and falling?
She's on her stomach.
I'll get somebody over there, okay?
A 911 caller found a woman's body at Lily Lake, lying on her stomach in just her underwear, slash marks carved in an X pattern across her back. She had been strangled, bound at the wrists, and stabbed. Her name was Melody Hoffman. She was 20 years old.
So you said that she's on her stomach?
She is on her stomach, yes.
Is there anything else around her?
No, but there are all kinds of marks on her back, like slashes. I'm wondering if there might have been a sexual assault too.
This kind of crime is something that was actually quite shocking to the citizens of our community, Greater Lynn County, and also the state of Iowa. We just don't see things like this ever happen here.
When investigators arrived there, they taped off the area and they began their examination. They discovered there were slash marks on her back and stab wounds on her back, and then also it appeared she had been strangled. The slash marks on her back were almost in an X pattern. Another injury that she had was a cut to her middle finger and then also a bruise on the left side of her face. Investigators there noticed that there appeared to be ligature marks around her wrist and around her neck.
With no ID found on this victim's body, investigators have to use other means to figure out who this woman is.
They found a class ring on one of her fingers that had her name on it.
That confirmed that was their victim, 20-year-old Melody Hoffman.
But what investigators didn't yet know was that Melody had already told them exactly when and where her assault began. Not through her phone, not through a witness, but through the device strapped to her wrist. Let me explain the technology, because precision matters. An Apple Watch continuously monitors heart rate using photoplethysmography, green LED lights that measure blood flow through the skin. When the heart rate deviates from a user's baseline, the watch logs that event. Separately, the watch monitors ambient sound levels. A loud noise alert fires when the microphone detects a sound reaching or exceeding 120 decibels, the equivalent of a siren at close range, a gunshot, or a human scream directly into the device. That alert includes a precise timestamp and, when paired with an iPhone, a GPS coordinate. Melody's Apple Watch recorded heart rate spike at exactly 12:03 a.m. on February 18. Simultaneously, the loud noise alert activated. Her phone, connected to the same Apple ID, generated a crash detection alert indicating a severe impact. That impact was not a car accident, as her family discovered when they searched the roadside and found only her shattered phone, face down on the white line, the case removed. A case her mother Megan had insisted she always use.
There is a crash detection alert, which means that the phone has had some sort of a very hard impact. So you have these strange text messages that don't sound like your daughter. You have location permissions turned off. You have a repeat video and you get a crash detection alert. That is the makings of everything that would make any mother panic about where your child is. Are they safe and okay?
I was hoping that it was just You know, a phone got left on the top of the car and they drove off. On that feature, I have come to learn that she had 4 of us set up, one being her Aunt Daisy. So when that message went out, it went to Daisy, and Daisy sent me a message right away and asked if Mel was with me, and I said no. She and her husband went to the crash site, the map location that Apple had sent to us, and they were looking for, you know, a car accident or something. This was 3:30, 3:45 in the morning by that time. They got out there and they called me and they said, "There's no accident. We don't see anything out here. Keep trying to get a hold of Mel." And I was calling her and texting her, and I don't know why I thought of it, but I thought if I took her iPad and I hotspotted it to my phone, I could use her Find My Apple device feature on her iPad to send her phone an alert. And I would go out to that location that Apple had sent the alert from. I get out there and I thought I had heard something with the window being cracked just a little bit. So I rolled the window down the rest of the way and I played it over and over, and I was able to hear something. So I got out of my car and I started walking down the side of the road. As I got closer, the sound was louder and louder and louder, so I knew I was going in the right direction. Kept playing it over and over. I was a little ways away from it and I looked down and I seen a glow. As I got closer, it was her phone. It was face down on the white line. So I grabbed the phone and the first thing I noticed is, oh man, it's broke. The back is completely shattered. The front had just a couple cracks through the screen, but it was still usable. I noticed that there was not a phone case on the phone. And that was something that I was a stickler about. Melody knew that if I was paying for her phones, they would have a phone case on them. So I looked around for a little bit. I didn't find the phone case. I got back in my car. Then I drove myself to the Marian police station and proceeded to file a missing persons report.
Melody's phone was thrown from a moving vehicle. Her watch had already captured the attack hours earlier. To understand what that 23 a.m. alert truly represents, we need to rebuild the timeline from the beginning. On the evening of February 17, Melody left her home after telling her mother she'd be back soon.
February 17th, it was about 11 o'clock. I was playing on my phone and I get a notification that she had left the area that I had set up in Life 360 as our home. She said she would be back. She said leave the door unlocked. At 11:30 at night, I didn't want the door left unlocked, so I got up and I locked it. And I told her to text me or call me or whatever. When she got home, I would get up and unlock the door and let her in. And then it was quiet for a while. I just assumed that she was being a kid and hanging out with her friend. And then I tried to get a hold of her. I noticed a few times that the location on her phone had gotten shut off, so I had asked her to turn it on, and she turned it on. I think it was in the midnight hour. I started getting messages from Snapchat. They were saying like, unlock the door, I'm on my way. I'm down the road seeing a friend, and I knew that she didn't have any friends down the road, and it was just off. And then I got the video that she had posted earlier in the evening sent to me directly. I told her, yeah, I already seen that. Come on, get home. After that, her location got shut off again as I was watching it on the Life 360 app. I told her to turn it back on. It never got turned back on. I sent more messages that were like, hello, answer me, talk to me, what are you doing? So then I just kind of laid there. I was still in bed. I dozed off for a little while. And then at 3:13 a.m., we got a SOS message from the Apple alert from her phone saying that there was a crash detected.
Megan tracked her daughter's location through Life 360, a family safety app that Melody willingly shared with her mother. At 11:00 p.m., Melody was still nearby. By midnight, the messages coming from her Snapchat account had changed. They used abbreviations Melody never used. They said, "Coming home soon." a phrasing her mother later testified was completely foreign to her daughter, but matched the texting patterns of her ex-boyfriend, McKinley Louisma.
In January of 2024, about a month before Melody was found murdered, Megan had reported this disturbing text message that was sent to Melody.
The text that was sent to Melody was from an unknown number. It was a threatening text message that they were going to kill her, that the police can't protect her all the time, and that they were going to paint their house red, indicating that they were going to cut them up or do whatever.
The person who sent it to her called her vulgar names, referred to her as and threatened to harm her and her family. Marian Police Department conducted an investigation, tried to figure out who the individual was that sent the text message, but it was a temporary phone that had sent the message, and so it wasn't able to be tracked back to anybody at the time.
Investigators need to figure out who sent this threatening message because it could very well be her killer. So they ask Megan who she believes was the last person to be with Melody on the night of her murder.
The location sharing was then turned on briefly, then turned off for good. The Apple Watch data fills light the phone data left. At 12:03 a.m., at Morgan Creek Park, not Lily Lake, Melody experienced a physiological event consistent with extreme terror or physical trauma. Her heart rate surged. Something loud happened. The device captured it all before it was removed from her body. Investigators would later find the Apple Watch wristband in McKinley Louisma's trunk, inside a green garbage bag alongside duct tape, bloody gloves, a paracord ligature, and 2 machete packages.
We did a walk around of Louisma's car just to look at obvious signs of any kind of evidence, anything that stuck out immediately. As we were doing that, there was a small speck of blood, at least appeared to be blood, on the trunk just above the keyhole. We determined that we're going to open the trunk to see what was inside there. We saw a green trash bag on the left-hand side of the trunk. We started to open the trash bag, and there was what appeared to be a clump of hair stuck to a loop of duct tape.
By the way, something that we use here at Law and Crime, and if you're into content creation or you're putting things out on social media, it could be useful to you. It's called Opus Clip. Now, Opus Clip is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it so easy to cut, create, and upload videos across any platform. Through AI, Opus Clip generates B-roll, reframes footage, and it even cleans up audio. It is so easy. You just visit opus.pro/primecrime. You sign up, you upload, and in minutes, you have perfectly edited clips ready to go. For TikTok, Shorts, Reels, Opus Clip is really your one-stop shop. And having a tool like Opus Clip means that our producers can get you viral courtroom updates instantly. This is the most powerful tool there is to share ideas and edit like a pro. So go to opus.pro/primecrime to get a free week and then 50% off.
Our green trash bag had a myriad of evidence. There was Melody's clothes that had blood on it. There was more duct tape that had blood on it, and her hair, her pants, her shoes, her Apple Watch wristband that had blood on it. There was receipts to Walmart. There was packaging to 2 machetes.
They had found Melody Hoffman's phone case, as well as finding a paracord that they believed.
The band had blood on it. The watch itself was never recovered, but its data had already been sent to the cloud. Now consider the paration that preceded that 12:03 a.m. alert. Hours earlier, McKinley Louisma, Dakota Van Patton, and Logan Kimpton walked through Walmart.
Logan, and who's getting on?
Surveillance video shows them moving casually through the outdoor section, selecting 2 Ozark Trail machetes and 2 pairs of gloves. They smiled. They were unhurried. The receipt and packaging were later found in the trunk. This was not a spontaneous encounter. This was premeditation.
When they started to examine Mr. Louisma and Mr. Van Patton's phone and compared it to Ms. Hoffman's phone with all the relevant location information, they were quickly able to determine that Mr. Louisma, Mr. Van Patton, and Ms. Hoffman had been together from approximately 11:24 p.m. on February 17th until the time Melody Hoffman was killed.
And the surveillance footage they've gathered provides investigators with another lead.
We were able to capture these men inside of Walmart, entering, proceeding to the outdoor area where they purchased 2 machetes and 2 sets of Ozark Trail gloves. It just so happens that the packages for the machetes were discovered in the trunk of Mr. Louisma's car, along with the receipt from the purchase, as well as the Ozark Trail gloves. We were able to show these 3 individuals walking, sometimes even smiling, proceeding to collect these items that we believe were in preparation to to kidnap and kill Melody Hoffman.
Here's where I want you to engage directly. Look at the timestamp on that Walmart receipt. Compare it to the 11:24 p.m. time when phone data confirms Louisma and Van Patton picked Melody up. Then count forward to 12:03 a.m., the Apple Watch spike. What do those intervals suggest to you about how long they had planned to keep her alive? Comment below with what you notice. I read those comments, and I'll share the most compelling observations in a follow-up. The behavioral indicators in this case are overwhelming. McKinley Louisma initially denied seeing Melody at all that night. Then, when confronted with the evidence in his own trunk, he claimed a man with a gun, Dakota Van Patton, forced him to participate. But the gun was a BB gun, and Louisma knew it as had watched Van Patton take selfies with it in his own car.
Remember that gun that McKinley claims Dakota threatened him with? Well, investigators find the gun.
Even though McKinley was claiming that Dakota had a gun, investigators determined that Dakota actually had a BB gun that was recovered at Louisma's residence with Nakia on Hummingbird Lane. And Dakota was taking selfies with it in McKinley's car in the front seat passenger seat. So McKinley knew the entire time that this gun was not real.
Louisma said he was terrified, yet he never fled at any of the multiple stops they made. He said he tried to cut Melody free, but the cut on her finger was superficial. He claimed Van Patton strangled her, yet he admitted to touching everything. The bloody clothes, the knife, the duct tape, the paracord. That admission came before DNA results were even processed.
Since he had intimate knowledge of her injuries, such as being strangled, he was not told that Melody was strangled. That indicates to investigators that he was present when Melody was killed.
He then was confronted by investigators on whether any of Melody's items, including her clothing, would have his DNA.
When he came back, he handed me the knife, and it had blood on it. He's like, here, hold this, hold that, hold this, hold that, hold this. I'm like, bro, where is she? He was like, go over there and see. I'm like, no, bro, don't tell me you did this. He was like, yep. He was like, if you didn't do it, I was going to do it. So then when he gave me everything, I pretty much touched everything. And then all the stuff that I touched, he told me to put it in the bag.
That's when Mr. Louisma admitted to them, and what was a key admission during this interview, that he had, quote, touched everything. So Mr. Louisma had already told investigators before any DNA examination was even able to be done.
He volunteered that he had handled evidence of a murder he claimed he tried to prevent.
That's when he was like, get out. And I was like, okay. And that's when he had a gun. And I'm like, what are you going to do with that? And he was like, don't worry, that shut the up.
Mr. Louisma detailed that they went to Morgan Creek Park first, because it was a place that was actually near his home that he had been to before with Melody Hoffman.
He said both of us to get out. And then he told me to pop my trunk. So I popped my trunk, and then he told me to get the duct tape and duct tape her hand. I was like, no, I'm not duct taping her hand. And then he took the gun, and then he put it to the side of my head. And he was like, just do it. And then I just duct taped her hand, and then she was asking me what's going on, and I was like, I don't know. He was just saying, oh, she have money. I was like, no, she don't. She was like, yeah, she have money because she's willing to spend all that money on you.
McKinley talks about sitting in the back of the car with Melody while Dakota allegedly has him at gunpoint. McKinley at one point says he gets his pocket knife out and Dakota hears the click. And that's when he's trying to free Melody, cutting her finger, allegedly.
Mr. Louisma then detailed that it was at Morgan Creek Park that Mr. Van Patton became upset with Melody Hoffman, and Mr. Van Patton began to assault her.
He moved his way in the back, and then he just started hitting her and punching her.
He was making these admissions in the case that only somebody present would have known.
Every single piece of physical evidence reinforces that sequence. Melody's blood was found on the outside of a glove, and inside that glove was Dakota Van Patton's DNA. Her blood was on the duct tape roll, and inside that roll was Van Patton's DNA. Her glasses were found in Van Patton's bedroom, where he had taken nearly 200 selfies wearing them. After her death, the paracord used to strangle her carried the DNA of both men who were with her that night.
Melody's Apple Watch data also provides investigators with another clue.
The loud noise alert that there was I think it's 120 decibels, the phone or her watch picked up. Something loud occurred, whether it was screaming or some kind of loud noise was recorded on her Apple devices at the same time that her heart rate spiked.
From that data, investigators were able to determine that Melody Hoffman had experienced an event that had either led to her heart stopping or an event that led to the Apple Watch being removed from her body. When they pieced together the other forensic data in this case, they had determined that Melody Hoffman was not at Lily Lake when this happened. She was at Morgan Creek Park.
So detectives circled back to Dakota Van Patton's alibi, which is that he was at his girlfriend's house the night that Melody was killed.
Him admitting that he went to Taya Meyer's place was huge because she was later able to corroborate that he did come over that night, but after Melody had been killed, and Dakota confessed to her that he had killed Melody along with McKinley.
Melody was not just evidence. She was a young woman who loved babies and animals, who told a stranger she liked her smiter just to see her smile, who wore a necklace containing the ashes of her stillborn sister Ellie.
There were several gloves that were found. And they were the same gloves that Mr. Van Patten, Mr. Kimpton, and Mr. Louisma were observed purchasing at Walmart. On one of these gloves, our forensic examiners were able to find Melody Hoffman's blood on the outside of the glove. That glove was swabbed on the inside for DNA. And that swab resulted in confirmation that Dakota Van Patten's DNA was inside a glove that had Melody Hoffman's blood on the outside. We also found a partially used roll of duct tape in the console of Mr. Louisma's Honda Accord. Dakota Van Patten's DNA was found on the inside of the duct tape roll that had Melody Hoffman's blood on it. These were two key pieces of physical evidence that were used to prove Dakota Van Patten's direct involvement in this case. On other key pieces of evidence, and I'm talking about the knife that was discovered in McKinley Louisma's car that had Melody Hoffman's blood on it, the paracord that was used to strangle her had Melody Hoffman's DNA on it and two other people's DNA on it. And the only two people that were with Melody Hoffman when she was killed was Dakota Van Patten and McKinley Louisma.
Law enforcement already has a pretty strong case, but why stop now? They obtain a search warrant for the residence that Dakota Van Patten was staying at, and they uncover even more evidence.
Officers found Melody's glasses in the bedroom that Dakota was staying in. In addition to that, there was a machete found in the residence that matched the Ozark Trail style machete, and then also they found a rope in the basement that appeared to match the remaining length of the rope that was found in McKinley's trunk. We connected that it was likely the rope that was used to cut off the ligature that strangled Melody.
And finally, investigators compare the phone data, and they are able to place Dakota with Melody on the night of her murder without a shadow of a doubt.
Every single piece of physical evidence reinforces that sequence. Melody's blood was found on the outside of a glove, and inside that glove was Dakota Van Patten's DNA. Her blood was on the duct tape roll, and inside that roll was Van Patten's DNA. Her glasses were found in Van Patten's bedroom, where he had taken nearly 200 selfies wearing them. After her death, the paracord used to strangle her carried the DNA of both men who were with her that night.
Who maybe needed a little more instruction or guidance, but as soon as she was understanding of what you were trying to tell her, she would be able to do it. Her junior and senior year, she loved, seeing her friends and hanging out with the teachers and talking to the teachers. She thrived for, I would say, adult interaction. Turn around quick.
No, smile.
Smile.
There's stuff in the hat.
Put your hand on your hip. She loved animals and kids and babies and just cared about everybody.
In the last video she ever posted, she was dancing in the back seat of a car, smiling, laughing, completely unaware of what was coming. She trusted the wrong person. A man she had only met on Facebook dating 3 months earlier, a man who had already ghosted her, a man who had chosen his pregnant ex-girlfriend over her and saw Melody as an obstacle to be removed.
While investigators wait for the search warrant, McKinley Louisma actually calls the Marian Police Department to find out if they have his car.
He came to the Marian Police Department willingly after getting a ride, and then the interviews began with him.
Sometime yesterday, we were brought in to work a case, and his vehicle was brought up as like a vehicle of interest, so we kind of wanted to go over that with you. Just to kind of give you a little bit of basis for what we're looking into. We're looking into a case involving Melody Hoffman. Sounds like you guys used to date for a while. Yeah. Do you remember the last time you had a chance to speak with her?
The last time I speak with her was on the phone. She told me to come over. And I always say, I'm not going to come over unless your mom is there, because that's what her mom told me.
So you didn't see her at all on Friday or Saturday?
I have a girlfriend, so it's like, I don't think my girlfriend would be okay with me going to see my ex-girlfriend. So I'd be like, I'm on my way, and then she would keep calling, are you coming? I pretty much leading her on to thinking I'm coming, and then I'm just making excuses.
Melody didn't always pick up on things that were obvious to other people around her. So Megan was noticing that Mr. Louisma was not showing up when he said he would, that he would leave her hanging, that he would ghost her often, and Megan finally said to Melody, you got to have a talk with him.
The investigative process worked here. Cell tower dumps placed all three individuals together. Life 360 plotted the vehicle's movements. The Apple Watch captured the exact moment the violence escalated. DNA tied the suspects to the murder weapons. 2 separate juries reviewed this evidence and returned guilty verdicts. McKinley Louisma and Dakota Van Patton are now serving life without parole. Logan Kimpton was arrested for conspiracy. But the deeper truth is this: Melody Hoffman should still be alive. No verdict brings her back. No sentence restores what was taken from Megan Hoffman, who now visits her daughter at a grave instead of across the kitchen table.
And this is where Megan, Melody's mom, finally gets to address McKinley directly.
You with the wrong mama. You messed with the wrong family. I'm sorry you never felt like you fit in to our family. I now know you could never fit into a caring, loving, supportive family. All Melody wanted to do was to care for you and support you. She begged me to let you stay with us so you wouldn't have to sleep in your car during the winter. Every meal you eat, every time you lay down on the bed provided for you, Melody is still providing for you. She will provide those bars you now live behind for the rest of your life.
Before the judge hands down his sentence, he also has a few words for McKinley.
What the Apple Watch gave us was not justice. It was clarity. It answered the questions that the killers thought they could bury. The watch heard what no one else could hear. The watch recorded what no one was supposed to know. The watch told the truth when no one else would. This is what I promise to every family, every victim, every viewer. I will follow the evidence wherever it leads. I will not look away from the hard details. And when there is an update, when the next piece of digital evidence speaks, I will be here to walk you through it, completely and without flinch. Thank you for being part of this investigation. I'll see you in the next one.